Welcome to our February DAC training session focused on the Student Data Review and Rosters, also known as SDRR, application. I'm Ben Riley, the Systems IT Consultant in the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support. Later, my colleague Chris Williams will be joining me. We are excited to guide you through the SDRR application features and updates. The SDRR is an essential tool for managing multiple items. Our training today will focus on understanding how SDRR can help us ensure accurate and reliable student data for better educational outcomes. Today's agenda is packed with topics that will help gain proficiency with the SDRR system. We'll start with the SDRR Spring Timeline, providing a roadmap for important dates and activities. Following that, we'll explore the Sandbox, a safe space for training and practice. We'll discuss the nuances of student status, strategies for handling 100-day students, and the intricacies of district test collections. Our focus will also include rosters, a variety of resources for your assistance, and the information for our SDRR Hot Topic office hours for real-time support. Let's talk about the spring timeline. The cornerstone of our discussion is the significance of data quality. The objective is to ensure the accuracy of student data before its incorporation into the school report card. This accuracy is critical for fair, effective educational assessment and reporting. Concerning the SDRR year at a glance, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of the annual timeline. The year begins in January with the filing of non-participations for access rosters. February focuses on ensuring the accuracy of graduate data in Infinite Campus for cohort. Mid-March is all about entering district test windows and updating calendars. As we move into April, the spring rosters open for critical demographic data adjustments. June allows us to review cohort data in SDRR, and August is dedicated to final data review before public reporting. Lastly, we have the 10-day regulatory review post-data release in the fall. Each of these milestones is integral to the successful management of student data and ensuring accountability and compliance with state educational standards. Let's look at our schedule of events for this spring. I'll give you a moment to absorb the timeline. Notice that we begin with the access and alternate access rosters on January 6. They will close on March 10. During this time, there are no preloaded students in the roster. Spring rosters are for the entry of non-participations such as medical, first year, EL, making changes in IC if needed, reviewing student demographics, requesting 100-day accountability changes, and marking accommodations. Each assessment roster may vary in the list of non-participations. When we look above the timeline, we see district test window collection box running from March 12th to March 28th. It's time to tell us when your last 14 instructional days will be. Remember, we check this against Infinite Campus, so get into IC and make certain that it's up to date. Notice that our spring rosters don't appear on our timeline until April. This gives us a few weeks to close the access rosters, populate them with students, and reopen them with the rest of the rosters. The spring rosters are KSA, AKSA, Access, Alternate Access, and Post-Secondary Readiness. The announcements section in SDRR is where it appears upon login to the system that will display reminders of when the parts are opening and closing. As we navigate the SDRR system, several features stand out. The Sandbox, which is available for staff training, offers a practical and risk-free environment to familiarize with SDRR operations. It's essential to know that rosters will open for ticket submissions based on the tentative schedule we discussed in the previous slide, and data review starts in late summer or early fall. The work continues in SDRR with two phases: rosters and data review. Let's talk about spring rosters that you'll be changing: AKSA, KSA, Access, Alternate Access for ELLs, and Post-Secondary Readiness demographics. Post-Secondary Readiness will also include information from TEDS on career data. The post-secondary career data will be through the Office of Career and Technical Education. The CTE data will be reviewed in TEDS through the Office of Career and Technical Education with Claude Christian. The cohort or graduation rate data will be visible during the spring, but its review window closed earlier this year. The School Climate and Safety Survey no longer has a separate roster in the spring, since all students participating in the KSA or alternate KSA assessment are expected to take the survey before they begin the rest of the content area tests. When looking at data review, it will have the same rosters open this fall, but they will no longer be directly connected to Infinite Campus. This is the time when you can fix things that slipped during rosters. It is important to also note here that the cohort or graduation rate is for review only, with changes made directly in Infinite Campus. SDRR offers a suite of features designed to simplify and enhance your experience. These include a direct connection to Infinite Campus for roster and demographics, clear indicators on the homepage showing open sections of SDRR, which are color-coded, and comprehensive listings for students, tickets, transfers, and tasks. Notably, the in-progress status will be visible for 100-day students and non-participation changes until they are approved or denied. Additionally, the large Help button provides easy access to assistance and tutorials, ensuring that you have the support you need at every step. As a security feature, please note that the system will log you out after 20 minutes of inactivity. Continuing with SDRR features, we emphasize the practicality of exporting student listings in various formats. This includes Excel, PDF, or even CSV. This feature is particularly useful for keeping track of roster changes and annotations. User-friendly filters and display controls enhance your ability to manage and view student data efficiently. The inclusion of district and school codes on all exports simplifies the process of tracking and accountability across different institutions. Furthermore, the sandbox environment remains a pivotal tool for staff training, allowing safe, hands-on practice without affecting actual student data. Let's talk a little bit about training sandbox and SDRR. This feature is a crucial part of your toolkit, providing a safe environment for training and practice. The sandbox is populated with sample data, reflecting real-world scenarios without affecting or using actual student information. It's an excellent opportunity for you and your team to get hands-on experience with the SDRR system, ensuring that when it's time to work with real data, you're fully prepared and confident. Data accuracy is a necessity, especially when it comes to public reporting in IC. Today's training will explore the importance of maintaining accurate student demographics, attendance, accommodations, non-participations, and testing data in Infinite Campus. Remember, even a single student's data can make a significant difference in understanding and reporting educational outcomes. I'm now going to invite my colleague, Chris Williams, to talk about SDRR and 100-day students. Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Ben. My name is Chris Williams, and I'm in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. And I'm going to bring this particular part of SDRR with 100-day students and etc. So let's begin. In this section, we're going to focus on 100-day students. And your 100-day students should be 100 days as the first day of your spring 2025 KSA test windows for all of your assessments. For all schools, and that should be the first day of the district 14-day testing window. Now, there are some valuable tools that is going to help you with this work in the SDRR platform. It's going to offer 2 valuable resources to help you manage your 100-day students. One of those is the 100-day tool that you see here on the screen. It will be able to assist you with anything that you want to know and be able to put in your particular, test your knowledge of your 100-day entity. Also, another useful tool is the 100-day quiz. It is an anonymous quiz that is going to support you in this work as well. It is anonymous and it helps you to test your knowledge as well, and we do not see this. Another thing is with these two valuable tools is that you're going to, on the student listing, these tools will also be available when you're in SDRR and looking at your student listings for KSA. Now, when you go to change the 100-day entity in SDRR, you'll see this particular screen, and you're going to see the district, and you're also going to see the school. And then you'll be able to, if you need to change that, you would find the student on the student listing, click on the 100-day entity in SDRR, and then it'll bring a pop-up and it'll allow you to put in the district change, the school level change, and then also you have to enter the change reason. Next thing we're going to do in SDRR is going to look at the district test collection window. So let's take a look at those. And this is going to be for KSA. The process is crucial. This process is crucial for organizing and scheduling the Kentucky Summative KSA for your elementary, middle, and your high school. Also, who can make those changes are your district level users will be able to make those changes to your KSA test windows. School level users will not be able to do that. They can only have read-only access. This window opens on March 12th and will close on March 28th for you to do this particular task. And then OAA will pull from Infinite Campus on the Friday before to populate the earliest start dates. So let's take a look at the next screen and see how that goes. Now, on this particular one, you'll see the district when you're in SDRR. This is what it's going to look like. You'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see the district earliest start dates and end dates. And then your task is on the right-hand side is to go in and put in the elementary testing start date, the middle testing start date, and your high school testing start date. And then once you put those in, you would want to update. And then you'll notice that over on the right-hand side, you have that export to. We also have where you can export those to PDF or Excel or CSV file. And so you can export those out. And when you export that, when you go to click on that and export out, you're going to see all the testing windows for our Kentucky schools and districts when you do that. Now, let's take a look at our rosters. Rosters are also another important piece when we're taking a look at those, and we're going to look more closely at how to manage our rosters. Now, managing rosters is one of those most important aspects of SDRR during the spring testing window. For KSA, rosters should include students who are in grades 3 through 8, 10, and 11. You also want to make sure that all your students are enrolled as the first day of your district 14-day testing window. And then you're also going to be able to go in and do some change requests created for non-participations. And those non-participations that we have are first-year EL, medical. We also have some that help you with roster cleanup, like student withdrew after the testing window began. And also we have students who are expelled without services. These non-participations are very important to take a look at for your students. And not only that, but also when you're looking at your KSA rosters, is to look at your 100-day students. Because even though we pre-populate that for you, you still want to make sure that you are looking over that information. And with all of this information, any changes that you make to either the non-participation or the 100-day students, always make sure to save an electronic version of all rosters in Excel or PDF format, because that's going to be important when it comes also for data review as well in the fall. And we'll talk some more about that as we go. Now, updates for SDR. When it comes to demographic data, it's important to remember that all information in SDRR reflects the status of the students as the first day of your 14-day district testing window based on your district calendars. So that's why we were talking about that it's very important to make sure those calendars are up to date and are correct in Infinite Campus. because OAA will be pulling that data from Infinite Campus at the close of business on the Friday prior to all rosters opening. Okay, let's talk about medical non-participation for students. For students who are unable to participate in testing due to a significant medical condition, SDRR offers a medical non-participation request process. And part of this process, it requires some completion of the form that will be uploaded into SDRR. And so you want to make sure that the required signatures are on the form as the district assessment coordinator. You also want to make sure that the medical doctor has signed it, and also the superintendent or designee. And sometimes the superintendent may designate for their designee, may designate the district assessment coordinator as this person. So if you are the district assessment coordinator or the designee, then you would have to sign that form twice. So make sure that the form is complete. And then once the form is complete by your staff in the district, then what you want to do is you want to save it on your computer, and then you're going to go into SDRR and you're going to upload this form into SDRR by going to if you're doing it for KSA, you would go into the KSA roster, go to the student listing, find the student on the roster, go to the non-participation column. There will be a dash there, and you will double click on that and be able to go in and upload. You would file the medical non-participation. Now, one thing we would just want to let you know is that for AKSA non-participations, those cannot be requested until spring rosters open in late April, because we do have a testing window 1 and a testing window 2 for AKSA. So if the student is not able to complete both of those windows, then you can go in on April 23rd and then be able to put your request in for that medical non-participation for AKSA on that particular student listing. So it depends on the test, and you want to make sure that you are making sure that you're not following the same one that you did for KSA as for AKSA, or for ACT, or for Access. Each form has to be complete for each assessment, and it's based on the needs of the student at that particular time. Now, you also want to keep a copy of this form. Even though you upload that into SDRR, you always want to keep a form on file in your district office. Now, another important thing in SDRR that we provide for you underneath the I Need Help are these IC report resources, because this is going to be important for maintaining data integrity. It's essential for ensuring the accuracy and reliability of student data. And to assist districts with this, districts can utilize these various tools and reports through Infinite Campus, and also, like I said, underneath the I Need Help button in SDRR. With IEP assistance, you want to be proactive and use these tools, prior to spring rosters opening. You want to look for your IEP information. Look at that IDA December 1 count extract, and look at that QA SPED report. Like I said, all of this information is in Infinite Campus, but also underneath the I Need Help in SDRR. And it's also linked in this presentation at the bottom. For alternate assessment, you want to look at that alternate assessment tracking report. And for your English learners, you want to look at their English learner extract, making sure that these students are accurately coming, when you run these reports, that they're actually showing up. And then that way, it will ensure that when we go to pull the data from Infinite Campus, that your students will be pulling correctly into SDRR for spring rosters. For cohort graduation, there are 2 reports: the enrollment in status validation report and also your G-code validation high school aggregate report. This is going to be valuable when working with 4-year and 5-year cohort graduation rate. Now, let's go and talk about fields that we can change in SDRR and what we can do and what has to be done in Infinite Campus. You'll notice on the screen, we're going to start on to the right-hand side. We're going to look at annotations. Now you'll be able, in SDRR, you'll be able to mark any annotations that happen, anything that happens during testing, you will do that with the annotations. You can also add and delete students because like I said, if you've got students who move prior to the testing window, you would annotate first and then go in and delete the student from the student listing, depending on what assessment you're looking at, whether it be KSA, AKSA, access, alternate access, whether it be your looking at your cohort information, etc. Because there will be some things that you can do for each of these assessments. And so it's very important that you look at the student listings. Also, you'll be able to go in and make changes to your 100-day entity students. You also get to file non-participations and mark accommodations for IEP and EL students. Now, there are some things that you're going to have to do in Infinite Campus first before it'll come over into SDRR. And that is with the demographics of name, grade, SSID, date of birth, gender, race, ethnicity, lunch, IEP, and EL. Now, I want to note here, if there is an issue, an IC change, except for an IP, and it's not, you made the change in Infinite Campus, and it's not reflected the next day in SDRR, you want to contact our Data Enterprise group, which is our KSIS team, and by emailing them at kdeDataRequest@education.ky.gov. Now, helpful hints with your IEP. When managing your IEP values in Infinite Campus, it is essential to verify the following. Make sure the student has a current IEP, making sure that you're using the appropriate assessment accommodations. Also, you want to make sure the IEP is complete in Infinite Campus. And you also, if something is not pulling over correctly for your IEPs, if it is, if you've made sure everything is good, like the student has a current, IEP, they have the appropriate accommodations marked, that the IEP is locked. And if it doesn't reflect the next day in SDRR, please contact Amy Patterson in the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. She will be able to assist you with that and resolve your issue promptly. Now, let's talk about what happens with your fields for correcting if something is not correct for your English learners. You'd want to make sure that the students are marked, your students as English learners in Infinite Campus. You want to make sure that the home language is something other than English. You also want to make sure that you have marked at least one instructional accommodation on their EL tabs in Infinite Campus, and you want to make sure that they have at least one program services type, and it can't be just declined services. If all of this information was correct, but then it does, or if you had to make a change to these fields and it doesn't reflect the next day in SDRR, please contact the KD Data Request at education.ky.gov, because they will be able to assist you with this promptly and also efficiently with your issues. Now, we're going to look at some roster dates and activities. Let's walk through some of these important reminders and timelines for SDRR management. Now, let's look at annotations. Annotations are for district use only, and they help you keep your records organized of what happened throughout your testing window. Everything in SDRR is organized by tests, so it is crucial to get the rosters right. Now, the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey is administered as part of KSA assessment and will not have a separate roster. So there's no additional action that is needed for this particular survey. Now, for your access and your alternate access rosters, keep in mind those were open for non-participations from January 6th through March 10th. Now, during that time, you were to just, if you needed to file any non-participations for those students, then you were to add the student and then file those non-participations during that time. Now, during spring rosters, these rosters, you will see them again. And so you'll be able to go in and mark any accommodations for those students on access or alternate access. You'll also be able for AKSA and KSA be able to mark any accommodations for those students. You'll also be able to file non-participations. And then also if you need to make any changes to your 100-day entity, you'll be able to do that, and any changes that you need to make for post-secondary readiness for the demographics. You want to make sure that you do that in SDRR. And this same information that you see here on the screen, all of these assessments you will see again, AKSA, KSA, access, and alternate access. And now for your post-secondary readiness, there's multiple tests that could be for that particular post-secondary readiness. Remember, ACT is only one of those ways to do it, and there are lots of ways to meet the post-secondary readiness for both career and academic. Now, you will see this information again, so we want you to be proactive and, for your district test window collection, make sure you're going in and marking those March the 12th through March the 28th. But when it comes to spring rosters, you want to go through and make sure that you're doing all the things to the right that I have talked about from April the 23rd through June the 11th. And then, like I said, you will see this information again from spring rosters again during August data review. So always it's very important to keep those rosters, those student listings, print those out, any changes that you made. Also, if you've got any students who, those transfer students where you've transferred accountability in and out for some students, for your 100-day students, that you also keep copies of those, because that's going to be important in the fall for data review to kind of just one more last look before it's publicly reported in the school report card. Now, resources. We have some wonderful resources that we want to make sure. So let's take a look at some of those useful resources to help you with SDRR. Now we have the I Need Help button. Now with the I Need Help button, it is available and it's directly within the system to provide you any guidance when you're working in SDRR with any of the student listings for any of the assessments that we just showed you on the previous screen. Also, you have the 100-day tool to help you, the 100-day quiz, the cohort tool, and also Sandbox. Now, for detailed guidance, we have step-by-step instructions are available on tasks such as marking accommodations, changing the 100-day entity, also requesting non-participations. To complement these, there are screencasts of these step-by-step instructions to provide visual walkthroughs to ensure you understand how SDRR functions, the functionality of those, and how you as a district and school level users can use these. Now, finally, we will also host sessions for district and school level users to provide hands-on training and answer any questions about SDRR functionality during spring rosters. These sessions are valuable opportunities to gain deeper insights and resolve any changes you may encounter. So take advantage of this information because, like I said, these tools are valuable to help you and to make sure that your data is correct on each of your student listings for your students. Now, let's talk about, to further support your work in SDRR, we're going to offer Hot Topic office hours where you can receive real-time assistance and guidance. Let's talk about those hot topic office hour topics and dates. Now, to further support with the work in SDRR, we're going to offer these where you can receive real-time assistance and guidance. These sessions are designed to address common challenges and also answer your specific questions about how SDRR is going to function. Each session focuses on a particular area of the platform, making it easier for you to resolve issues and also gain a deeper understanding of SDRR's tools and also the functions of what you're going to have to do in SDRR when it comes to spring rosters. So want to look at the left-hand side about the dates and times, and then on the right are the topics as well as the links to each one of these. So be sure to check out the schedule for these and take advantage of this valuable resource that we are providing for you in the schools and districts. Now let's talk about February DAC sessions and some information about that. In addition to today's training, we do have February DAC hybrid Q&A sessions. We have date and locations of these to further provide support. These sessions will offer both, like I said, an in-person and virtual option, giving you the flexibility to participate in what format works best for you. There will be opportunities to ask questions and dive into specific challenges. We encourage all districts and school level users to attend these and be prepared with questions and feedback about SDRR processes as well as our other assessment trainings that will be available. You'll also see how the day is going to go for these hybrid Q&A sessions. And then you will also see all of the other trainings besides SDRR that you want to take advantage of and take a look at these recordings on our KDE website for you to be able to look at prior to coming to a Q&A session. As we conclude today's training on SDRR, I want to emphasize the use of using SDR to its full potential. By adhering to these timelines, utilizing the tools, and also the resources that we have discussed today, we want you to engage in these opportunities like the office hours and the Q&A sessions so that way you can ensure that the accuracy and integrity of your district's data is correct. Here is our contact information for our office, as well as our staff is listed. I want to thank you for your dedication and all that you do in your district, for your commitment in making sure that the data is accurate, that it is fair for all of your students. And I want to, like I said, I want to make sure to thank you again for coming to this session and also for joining us today.